It's Wednesday, and as we move deeper into the evening, the atmospheric signals across the eastern United States continue to become stronger and more organized. What initially looked like a routine winter disturbance a few days ago is now evolving into something that has the potential to impact a very large portion of the country at once. This is not just about snowfall totals or whether one city gets more snow than another. This is about a large-scale weather pattern that could bring dangerous cold, strong winds, heavy snow, and widespread disruption. Right now, the overall pattern across North America is highly amplified. We have strong ridging over the western part of the country and deep troughing over the central and eastern regions. This type of setup is often responsible for some of the most memorable winter storms, because it allows cold air to remain locked in place while storm systems ride along the boundary between warm and cold air. And that boundary is exactly where our developing system is expected to track. A deep and well-established cold air mass is already in place from the northern plains through the Great Lakes and into much of the Northeast. This cold air is not shallow. It extends through multiple levels of the atmosphere, which is a critical factor when we talk about snow potential. When cold air is deep and entrenched like this, it becomes very difficult for incoming storms to scour it out. Instead of rain, precipitation tends to fall as snow, and in some cases, heavy snow. As we look farther south, this cold air is also beginning to press into the Ohio Valley and portions of the Southeast. This southward push of cold air is important because it sets the stage for winter weather in places that do not always experience it. The farther south the cold air can penetrate, the greater the potential impact zone becomes. Meanwhile, the atmosphere remains very active on the Pacific side of the country. A strong flow of moisture is impacting the Pacific Northwest, producing heavy rain at lower elevations and significant snowfall in the mountains. While this system is not directly connected to what will happen on the East Coast, it is a sign that the jet stream is energized and capable of supporting powerful storm systems across the continent. As we move toward the end of the week, attention shifts to a disturbance dropping out of the northern plains and moving into the Midwest. On its own, this system would not be particularly impressive. It may produce some light snow across parts of the Great Lakes and Midwest, along with some rain or thunderstorms farther south near the Gulf Coast. However, its true importance lies in how it interacts with another piece of energy moving through the southern jet stream. When northern and southern stream systems begin to interact or phase together, the atmosphere can respond very quickly. Energy transfer becomes more efficient, upward motion increases, and surface low-pressure systems can intensify rapidly. This is exactly the type of setup that forecasters watch closely when there is cold air already in place. As this interaction begins to occur, cold air is driven even farther south. By early Saturday, freezing temperatures could extend deep into the southern United States. In some areas, snow may begin to break out well outside of the typical snowbelt regions. Even light snow in places that are not accustomed to winter weather can cause significant travel issues, especially if road treatment resources are limited. By Saturday morning, snow development becomes more likely across parts of North Carolina and surrounding states. As the day progresses, the storm begins to organize more efficiently, drawing in moisture from the south while maintaining access to cold air from the north. This combination is what allows snowfall rates to increase and coverage to expand. One of the most concerning aspects of this system is the potential for rapid intensification. Several model solutions suggest that the surface low pressure could deepen at a very fast rate as it moves offshore. If pressure falls quickly enough, this storm could technically qualify as a rapidly intensifying cyclone. While terminology often gets debated, the impacts associated with such systems are well understood. Stronger winds, heavier precipitation, and more dangerous conditions overall. As pressure drops, the wind field tightens. Strong winds combined with heavy snowfall can significantly reduce visibility, sometimes to near zero. In these situations, travel becomes extremely dangerous or even impossible. Snow can drift rapidly, covering roads that were cleared just hours earlier. Power lines can be damaged, and outages can become widespread, particularly in areas where heavy, wet snow combines with strong gusts. The exact track of the storm remains one of the biggest uncertainties. Small changes in track can have large consequences. If the low-pressure system remains farther offshore, The heaviest snow may focus on the Carolinas, Virginia, and portions of the mid-Atlantic, while the Northeast experiences lighter amounts or a glancing blow. On the other hand, if the system tracks slightly closer to the coast, snowfall could expand significantly into major metropolitan areas farther north. Different forecast models handle this scenario differently. Some solutions keep the storm compact, limiting the extent of heavy snowfall. Others show a broader precipitation shield that spreads snow over a much larger area. As we get closer to the event, these differences should begin to narrow, allowing for a clearer picture of who will be most affected. Early snowfall estimates suggest that portions of central North Carolina and eastern Virginia could see several inches of snow, with localized higher amounts possible if banding sets up. The Washington, D.C. metro area could see accumulating snow, though exact amounts remain uncertain. Farther north, cities like Philadelphia, New York, and Boston remain on the edge of the heavier snowfall zone, but trends will need to be monitored closely. It is important to emphasize that snowfall totals at this stage should be viewed as potential outcomes rather than guarantees. Winter storms are complex, and small changes in temperature, track, or timing can dramatically alter the final result. That said, the presence of strong cold air and increasing model agreement on storm development means this is not a scenario to dismiss. Beyond snow, the cold itself may pose the greatest danger. Another surge of Arctic air is expected to move southward behind this system, reinforcing already cold conditions. Temperatures could drop well below average across a wide portion of the eastern United States. When combined with strong winds, wind chill values could reach dangerously low levels, even in areas that are not accustomed to such cold. In parts of the deep south and Florida, freezing temperatures may extend farther south than usual. Wind chills could dip below freezing in areas that rarely experience such conditions. This presents a serious risk to exposed pipes, sensitive vegetation, and vulnerable populations. Infrastructure in these regions is often not designed for prolonged cold, increasing the potential for damage. The human impact of prolonged cold should not be underestimated. Power outages combined with low temperatures can quickly become life-threatening. Heating systems may struggle to keep up, and those without reliable shelter are especially at risk. Sadly, cold weather events often lead to an increase in injuries and fatalities, particularly among the elderly and those without access to adequate resources. This is why preparation and community awareness are so important. Checking on neighbors, especially those who may be elderly or living alone, can make a real difference. Ensuring pets are brought indoors and taking basic precautions to protect pipes and property can help reduce damage and hardship. Looking ahead, there are some signs that the pattern may eventually shift. A strong ridge building over the western United States could, over time, help push the cold air eastward and weaken its grip on the central part of the country. However, this transition does not appear to be immediate. For the near term, winter conditions are expected to remain firmly in control across much of the east. In summary, the developing weather system has multiple ingredients coming together: deep cold air, active jet stream energy, increasing moisture, and the potential for rapid intensification. Any one of these factors alone might not be enough to cause major impacts, but together they create a situation that demands close attention. Forecast confidence will continue to improve as newer data becomes available. Until then, staying informed and prepared is the best course of action. Winter weather can change quickly, and being ready ahead of time can make all the difference. As always, updates will continue as conditions evolve. For now, winter remains the dominant force, and the coming days could bring significant challenges for many across the eastern United States. Stay safe, stay warm, and continue to monitor the latest forecasts as we move closer to this potential high-impact event.